Hey everybody, today's January 12th and we are continuing on reading a Bible in a year. And today in the Old Testament is Genesis chapter 26 verse 17 through chapter 27 verse 46. New Testament is Matthew chapter 9 verses 1 through 17. And the Psalm is chapter 10, verses 16 through 18. And the Proverbs for today is still in chapter 3, verse 9 and 10. Yesterday, Isaac took a wife. And surprise, I don't think I said it, but she had twins, which were Esau, who was the firstborn, and then Jacob, who was actually holding on to his brother's heel as he was coming out of the womb. So that's why they named him Jacob. So then when we're getting into today's verses, Isaac was out reopening the wells that Abraham had dug because there is a drought in the land, and so he's trying to find the water, and it's still there at the the Philistines had filled most of them in, and so Isaac was out redigging them, and they were talking about that. And then Esau, when he was 40, finally took a wife. She was a Hittite. Judith was her name. And then it like fast forwards to Isaac being old and getting close to death, and he wanted to put his blessing on his oldest son, Esau. Well, he sent him out to get a deer for venison, for meat, and to cook it for him and bring it to him so he could give him his blessing. And he wanted to kind of have his last meal. But Rebecca heard all of it, which was his wife, and since Jacob was her favorite, she actually helped Jacob deceive his father and receive Esau's blessing. So this caused a rift between the boys, and Jacob left straight away to go and find a wife and to go be somewhere else while his brother was mad. And then in Matthew, which is the New Testament, we're still with Jesus and during his ministry. And let's see. There was a big hullabaloo because they brought a person to a man that was sick with palsy, and he could only lie on the bed, and they wanted him healed, but he actually told them he is forgiven of his sins. And in the synagogue and with the priests there, that was a really huge deal. How could a man forgive someone of their sins? Because they didn't believe he was the embodiment of God. Let's see. So we got Matthew chapter 9, verses 1 through 17. Verse 2 is, and behold, they brought to him a man sick of the palsy, lying on a bed. And Jesus, seeing their faith, said unto the sick of the palsy, Son, be of good cheer, thy sins be forgiven thee. And behold, certain of the scribes said within themselves, This man blasphemeth. Can't say it. And Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, Wherefore think ye evil in your hearts? For whether is easier to say, Thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say, Arise and walk? But that ye may know that the Son of Man hath power on earth to forgive sins. Then saith he to the sick of the palsy, Arise, take up thy bed, and go into thine house. And the man arose and departed to his house. But when the multitude saw it, they marveled and glorified God, which had given such power unto men. And this is verse 9. And as Jesus passed forth from thence, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the receipt of customs, and sitting at And he saith unto him, Follow me. And he arose and followed him. So that's Matthew the disciple. He just recruited. What else here? And let's see, let's skip down to verse 10. Well, that's just the next verse. And it came to pass as Jesus sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto his disciples, Why eateth your master with publicans and sinners? But when Jesus heard that, he said unto them, They that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. But go ye and learn what that meaneth. I will have mercy and not sacrifice, for I am not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. Then came to him the disciples of John, saying, Why do we and the Pharisees fast oft, but thy disciples fast not? And Jesus said unto them, Can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, and then shall they fast. And then this is down to 17. Neither do men put new wine into old bottles, else the bottles break, and the wine runneth out, and the bottles perish. But they put new wine into new bottles, and both are preserved. And that was kind of one I've heard that, you don't put new wine in old wineskins, because it'll go bad or the wineskins will break. You have to put new wine in new wineskins, and then they'll both be okay. And then our psalm is very short today. Psalm 10, chapter 10, verses 16, 17, 18. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his hand. Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. And then our Proverbs for today, still in chapter 3, verses 9 and 10. Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. So it's pretty interesting. I think that the story of Abraham and his whole family is kind of like I don't know, it's almost a soap opera. If you read along with me back when Abraham had taken Sarah and they went to the land of Canaan, where the king was Abimelech, and he told him that she was his sister and not his wife, because he was afraid he was going to get killed so he could have her because she was so beautiful. Now then, when Isaac went into that same land again, he did the same thing. He told the king, which was still Abimelech, which is kind of, wow, he must have been really old at that point too, that his wife, Rebecca, was his sister. So here we go again. Why is he telling him that? That's why I was trying to find it way back, but I can't find it that quick. Anyways, that was where in the land where they were redigging the wells and opening them back up. So King Abimelech made a covenant with Abraham that they shall be in peace, and they took bread together, had a meal together, and agreed that they would, be in peace. And now the same king has made a covenant with Isaac, because they needed the water as well. So he wanted to be in peace with Isaac, because he knew he was blessed of God to be able to find the same wells again, and the water still sprang forth in that land. And so they made a covenant again. And on top of that, before Rebecca got pregnant with the twins, she was actually barren, but God came to him and repeated his covenant with Abraham to Isaac, that he would make thy seed multiply. This is verse 4 from, I think it was chapter 25 or chapter 26. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar. And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, she is my sister. So here's that. Why you're just having communion with God, and then you go and lie to the ruler of the land and tell him you're that's my sister and not my wife. And then Abimelech saw them together. I mean, you could tell that they were intimate, obviously, because he said, what is this falsehood that you're telling me? She is my sister. And Isaac said, because I said, lest I die for her. So he was afraid he was going to kill her. But the king Abimelech was a godly man. I mean, God gave him the insight in both instances. Do not pursue these women because they're already in covenant with a man. So anyway, Abimelech ended up sending Isaac and Rebekah off because he obviously did not want to get in trouble with the Lord, because of Isaac, but also he knew that Isaac was blessed because of his father. So anyways, that's just my 2 cents about it. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I'm kind of jumping around, but anyways, that's about all I have for today. I hope you're reading along. I invite you to come and read the scriptures with me, and put some comments down what you think they mean, or how you're interpreting them, or how you feel about it. And thanks for watching, and we'll do this again tomorrow.